Once upon a time, there was a villager and he lost his only son, and he was unconsolable, and he just could not overcome his grief. And this went on for days and days and days, and he just couldn't understand how could he lose his only young son. And the other villagers, seeing this villager, felt really very sad and very sorry for him and said, wondered what to do. Someone advised this villager and told him, there's an ascetic who stays on top of a mountain, and that person is considered to be very wise. And why don't you go and meet him? Maybe he will give you some advice, and that will help you to overcome your grief. So this poor villager goes up the mountain to meet this ascetic, and this ascetic is staying in a small hut, and he tells this ascetic that, sir, I have lost my only son. He was very young, and I just can't seem to overcome this grief and sorrow. So please tell me, what should I do? So this ascetic, who's supposed to be a very wise man, says that, look, everything in life is changing and transitory. Everything is impermanent. Whatever is born will die one day. So what are you grieving over? So whatever I'm telling you, contemplate on the impermanence of life and you will start feeling better. So this poor villager goes back home and he contemplates on the wise words of this ascetic and contemplates and meditates on the impermanence of life. And after some time, he reconciles to his loss and he starts feeling better. And he becomes a regular visitor at the ascetic's house. And one day he's visiting the ascetic's small hut on the top of the mountain, and he sees that this ascetic, this sage, is crying unconsolably and crying and crying and crying. And this villager is surprised. What happened to this man? Why is he crying so much? He's saying, sir, what happened? Why are you crying so much? So the ascetic says that, you know what? My goat died. So this villager is shocked and surprised. He said, sir, you are saying your goat died. When I came to you and I told you my son died, you gave me this beautiful advice that everything in life is impermanent and everything is changing and I must meditate on that. And now you're crying unconsolably because your goat died. So the ascetic says, that was your son. This is my goat. Okay, so what's the moral of this story? So the moral of the story is very, very simple. And the moral is basically, it is easy to give advice to others. And being a counselor, a lot of people come to me and seek guidance on emotional matters, on life situations, difficult life situations, and they want to know what to do. So I thought, why not share with you 3 things I have learned through hard-earned experience of how one can help others. And pretty much it's also the same way of how one can help themselves. And these 3 things are, for want of a better acronym, they are L, R, and M. These are the 3 things you can remember. The first starts with the alphabet L, then R, and then M. So what's the first thing that you can do to help others is starts with L, and that is listen. This is the most important thing you can do to help others. Sometimes all that is needed is somebody to really, really listen to somebody else. Just validate what they're feeling, how they're feeling, their emotions, their story. Just listen, 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 because that itself has a very therapeutic effect. The fact that another human being is listening to another person. Quite often, they're not even really looking for a solution. They're looking for somebody to just listen to them. And so the first is to listen. The second R, which starts with the alphabet R, is after listening, please do not give any advice. Don't tell them, okay, do this, do that. More important than that is help them to take responsibility for their own life. And how you can help them take responsibility for their own life is by asking them a question. Like often people come to me with they're undergoing depression, they're going all kinds of difficulties, and I listen. And after the listening is over, I ask them one question made up of just two words. And I ask them is, now what? Now what? Now, okay, I understand whatever has happened bad and things were not good and the circumstances were not fair for you. But now what? Because now what is very powerful. It gets you in the present moment and says, okay, now what do I do? Because the counselor cannot live the life of the other person. No matter what, that person has to take responsibility for his own life. And now what means, now what do you want to do? And that's very powerful to help the person to come and take responsibility for their life. And the third thing, which starts with the alphabet M, is you help them or guide them, if you don't know someone, if you don't know how to do it yourself, towards some kind of a mindfulness and meditation practice. That is very, very important, because the true answer or the true guidance comes from a deep space of silence within. It doesn't come through the mental chatter of the mind. The mental chatter of the mind is the real problem. So guide them towards some kind of a mindfulness routine, a meditative practice. It need not be something intense, just simple sitting, watching the breath or watching the body, the sensations. So that's something which sustains that intelligence, that peace of mind, that inner harmony. So listen, responsibility, and mindfulness. And these are the same things that you can use to help your own self. Listen to what's happening inside you, your thoughts, your feelings, you can write them down. Second is take responsibility for your own life. How long are we going to blame people, outer people, situations, circumstances? And the third is develop a mindfulness meditation routine. So I'll end with a quote which says, a wise man or a wise woman does not show their wisdom by giving advice. They show their wisdom by not giving advice and helping others take responsibility for their own life. Namaste. Thank you.